and we have some awesome stuff going on right now. So, guys, go check out wherever you do social media, like us, follow us, all that good stuff. And guys, we have some really cool stuff coming up with Fat Tack. Fat Tack we've been talking about for a few weeks now. It's a really good company. Go check them out. But also they're going to be having our merchandise on their website. So keep watching fattack.com for AFK Discussions merchandise. And guys, we have some awesome content today. So we have our buddy Tommy here from all the way from the UK. What up, dude?
Hello. Thank you for having me, guys. I am super excited to be here with you tonight.
Yeah,
Thank you very much.
Absolutely. Yeah, man. Thank you for coming on. It's been a long time coming. We're all buddies. We've been trying to make this happen for a long time. So a few weeks ago, Jason's like, "Oh, we need like guests again." So I'm like, "All right, let me make a list." And so we made a list. And Tommy, you were one of the first people I reached out to.
Oh,
so
thank you,
welcome
man.
to the AFK Discussions podcast.
It is a pleasure.
Yeah,
Thank
man.
you.
Absolutely. We have a lot to talk about. Tommy's got paranormal experiences to talk about. We were already talking about tea. We were talking about British TV. We're talking about a lot of things before this moment right here. But before we get into all that, Jason has some gripes to get into about some officiating in a soccer game, or as Tommy would like to say, a football game.
Yeah.
So Jason, why don't you just get into this, because I know it's just going to linger if you don't talk about it.
Oh man, I was seriously angry. Oh man, so angry. So my son was playing a tournament today, and so the first two games they tied, and the last one was a must-win situation, and just I don't know if the ref was paid off. I like to say the ref was paid off because we faced off against a team that we tied recently or earlier in the day, right? Which was 8 a.m. We played like super early in the morning. We tied this team, and then we ended up playing them again because one of the teams dropped out, and it was the first and second team to go, see who was going to go on to the next level. So, anyways, this ref, guys, if you know anything about soccer or football, you don't touch the goalie. That's one of the big things, right? So our goalie had the ball, and I don't know what this kid was thinking. He not ran into him. I mean, knocked him onto the ground, and the ball came loose, and the ref called it a goal. That's
American football, man.
Yeah.
That was crazy. And then he called a handball on us in the box, and they got a penalty kick, got another goal, and then back on their side, they had a handball, but there was no call on it at all. The ref just let it slide. So we ended up losing, and it just, I'm still hot over it.
Yeah. I know, man.
Gosh.
In the UK, we've got a song about the referee. I won't sing it on this show because it's got swearing in it. Yeah, but it's the referee's up, and I'll let you fill in the gap.
I love it.
And they get that quite a lot, and they deserve it.
I don't know much about soccer, but I know that's definitely not supposed to happen. That's crazy.
Yeah,
I'm just glad it was it's one of your younger kids, right?
Yes.
Okay, just imagine if this was like your high school kid who was like a senior, and this is like their last. Imagine if something like that happened. Oh, brutal. Because something like that did happen up here a few times like that. Recently, when in a hockey game, something like that happened. Yeah. So just imagine that.
Yeah. Well, with hockey, I mean, it's a little bit more rough. The fans can be more, I guess, belligerent. I can't say it. Belligerent towards the refs and stuff. Here, it's kind of frowned upon in soccer, especially at our age. Like, we're not supposed to yell at the refs, but
it's hard.
Yeah. Hey, Phil, real quick, your camera kind of blurred out. Can you?
Yeah, I don't know what's up with that.
It's very weird. I don't know.
I know. I was trying to do this to try to get it to
there it is.
Focus
For a second.
I think it might be the light. Hold on. Keep on talking. I'm going to turn the light on.
But yeah, so not a good day for me and my son, but we got him ice cream afterwards, which worked miracles for attitude.
For sure. That makes up for it, man.
Yeah. But my son, he plays some defense, but he's mainly a midfielder. He plays center mid, and he's very fast, which you have to be at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's he loves it. Next year he's going to junior high or middle school, and he'll be trying out for that team, and it's I love
awesome, man.
Yeah, I love that he's into soccer. It's awesome because I played when I was in high school, and I'm just glad that he's following in my footsteps, which is great.
Yeah, and one day maybe Arsenal.
Yeah,
who knows?
Yeah.
But that would be amazing.
Yeah, it's rare though that American players come to play in the UK, but it's getting more common.
Yeah, it happens. Yeah, 100%.
But now the MLS is known as like the retirement ground for the for the big name stars, like Messi playing in the MLS now. So which is it's great.
Yeah, Beckham was there. Yeah,
Beckham was there. Yeah, but I mean, gosh,
Ronaldo,
yeah.
Cristiano Ronaldo.
Yeah,
man.
So it's great. I'm actually we're going on vacation at the end of July, and we've got tickets to go to Miami and watch Messi play. So that's going to be.
Oh wow!
Yeah. I mean, I personally like Ronaldo better than Messi, but either one. I mean, they're the greats.
Yeah.
You can't miss up an opportunity to watch them play. So
100%, man. I think a lot of people have the argument who's the best out of Ronaldo and Messi, and most people will say Messi.
Yeah,
because he's won more.
Yeah, I mean, both of them just seem like nice guys. They're not like, full of themselves, which it seems like somebody who is that famous would be full of themselves. But I mean, I see pictures of them all the time, just going up to kids and getting pictures taken with them, which is awesome.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. But that's one thing that everyone in America, they're like, oh, it's soccer, blah, blah, blah. I mean, these are the biggest sports figures in the whole world. We think of our, like, say, who is, I don't know. I don't really follow America. Let's say LeBron James. Everyone knows LeBron James. Yes, he's huge, but compared to like Messi and Ronaldo, he's not worldwide as huge as they are. In America, he's like the biggest, and he's known worldwide, but he's not as big. You know what I'm saying? That makes sense. Yeah.
I think soccer, football seems to be the world's game. Like the whole world seems to love soccer, football, whatever we want to call it. I'll go for soccer tonight.
Yeah. It's growing in America. It's growing pretty fast. And plus, we're going to have the World Cup. The next World Cup's here in the U.S., so I'm
man,
very excited. Yeah. Hopefully, I'll be able to see a game. I don't know. There's rumors.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, there's rumors that they may play in Nashville, which is 3 hours for me. So if they do, I totally want to catch a game, or at least go and be in the city at the same time as it's going on, because I know it's going to be insane. But yeah, okay, I'll stop talking soccer.
Yeah, man. Let's do a soccer show.
I love it.
So Phil, how have you been?
My eyes are just rolling back in my head because I was just like, no, I'm kidding. But no, I've been good. So actually, what's really interesting, so this week, because we want, by the time next episode comes out, the video will already be out. But I got a video coming out this Thursday, Legend of the Red-Headed Hitchhiker, which is Bridgewater Triangle legend about literally a hitchhiker, a red-headed guy with a red beard, kind of just like Tommy, on the side of the road, gets picked up, and then all of a sudden he disappears. So I checked out that legend. What's, I think, most fascinating, the trailer's out now. You guys can go check it out. But I think what's most fascinating about it is part of the legend is when you cross over the Seekonk-Rehoboth line, this is the two town lines where this takes place, allegedly people have said to have heard his laugh. And so when we were driving through there, we caught an EVP of the hitchhiker's laugh. So that's on the trailer. Go check that out. I'm very excited about that just because it's unbelievable to catch something like that, especially in an urban legend like that. You're like, I was expecting at least to retell the story and maybe get lucky in the spirit box with some sort of response that was pertaining to him, but to get that response and a couple other things you guys will see in the video, it's pretty remarkable. So I just wanted to plug that real quick. But enough about me. Let's talk to Tommy. Tommy, you got some incredible paranormal encounters. Some people will call it like. Yep. You want to get in? Go ahead.
Whoa. You forgot to have Tommy introduce himself and tell everyone.
Oh yeah. Well,
That's cool.
You know what it is? We've been talking for like 45 minutes already.
So football. No, okay. Yeah. So I'm Tommy from Let's Get Freaky podcast. Like you guys, we explore the paranormal. We talk all things paranormal, ghosts, cryptids, UFOs, high strangeness. I normally have guests on to share their experiences, and I love it, man. I've had experiences myself, so I know there's more to this crazy world. And yeah, man, we're just on a journey trying to learn more about the paranormal world that we live in.
Awesome. Yeah.
Awesome. So yeah, like I was saying, you've had a lot of paranormal encounters. Some people call it like sleep paralysis, and so you've had some other encounters as well. You can get into whatever you want to get into, because I know you've had a bunch of different things and seen a bunch of different things. So wherever you want to take it, the floor is yours. Tommy, take it away, man. Wherever you want to go.
I mean, I've experienced paranormal throughout my life. I was always one of those kids that was pretty scared of the dark, and I still am, to be honest. I can't, if I'm on my own, I'll still have the TV on or a light on because I just can't stand being in the dark on my own. And I've always had that since I can remember. My first big experience was when I was a young kid. I was about 10 years old, and we grew up in a haunted house. So there was a lot of strange activity. You used to hear weird noises, get a weird vibe. Things would go missing, you know, the typical haunted house stuff. But there was one night, me and my brother shared a room, and we had bunk beds, and I was on the top bunk. And one night I remember waking up and all the lights were off. But I looked down at my desk, and there was a man sitting there at my desk, sort of looking up in my direction. Now, he looked like, I always say, like, he looks like William Shakespeare. That's how I describe when people say, what did he look like? I always say, it looks like William Shakespeare, only because I've seen pictures of William Shakespeare. And I'm not saying that's who it was, but that's just what he reminded me of. And I was just terrified. Obviously, I was, a young lad, seeing this guy in my room that shouldn't have been there. I just remember calling my mum in the room, and this guy didn't move. He stayed sitting there at the desk, and he was just full bodied. It was just like a man was sitting there. It wasn't see-through or anything like that. I could see his hair. I could see that he was wearing like a brownish suit. I could see like the white, whatever you call it, scarfy thing around his neck. I could see him clearly, like his boots, everything. And my mum couldn't see him. And I was terrified. But I was one of those kids that used to get up all the time during the night and try and get in the room with my mum and dad. And I think they just had enough of it, basically. I was 10 years old. So my mum calmed me down. She made me stay in my room. And I just remember being terrified, going under my covers, and I was just sweating. I was too scared to look, but I did every now and again at a peek, and this guy was still there. And I was just, for the whole night, and somehow I fell asleep that night. I woke up the next morning, this guy was gone. And obviously from that moment on, I knew that there was more to this world. That for me was the moment. I'd always sort of been scared and, felt like there was stuff in the room, but that was the moment that I was like, yeah, ghosts are real, man. And that was it. That was sort of the start of my paranormal journey. In that room as well, it was, we had Fred Flintstone curtains, me and my brother, and you could sort of see the street lights sort of used to come in. So it wasn't completely pitch black in the room. So this guy wasn't glowing or anything like that. We could just sort of make out shapes in the room and stuff. So that's how I could see him so clearly. But yeah, man, that was my first experience.
Wow.
Interesting.
Big experience.
Yeah, absolutely. I do have a follow-up question about that. So,
yep.
I mean, looking back now, do you think this was like a residual type thing? Do you think he even knew you were there? Or did it seem like he knew you were there? I know it's a hard question because you were like terrified as a kid, but
I don't. As far as I can remember, I don't even remember him blinking. Like he was just sort of sitting, like with his head sort of looking up towards me, but not looking around, not sort of moving at all. I don't remember any movement, so I don't know. It could have been a residual. I could have been just seeing, you know, a picture from the past, possibly. I don't know, but it was he was full bodied though. It wasn't like if I saw him now sitting on a park bench, I'd be like, God, that guy looks like William Shakespeare. Why is he dressed like that? But I wouldn't think he was a ghost. You know, it was just like a man was there, and it was terrifying. Like it terrified me. It still does when I think about it. Really.
Yeah,
and
sure. Especially as a kid, you know what I mean. You know, like that's the last thing you expect to see. Now, were you asleep and then woke up and then you saw him?
Yeah, I was asleep. I remember waking up and just looking down over my bed. And I was probably, I used to wake up, and if I woke up during the night and it was dark, I would either get up, turn the light on, or as I say, try and get in my mum and dad's room because I used to be scared. So, yeah, man.
Yeah, that's terrifying, man. I can only imagine. Like, but I know exactly that feeling because I used to have that kind of feelings. I think every kid does every now and again, whether it's just because you're freaking yourself out, which is most of the time it's usually that. But once in a while, something like that happens, and then every single moment after that, you're like jumpy and you're like looking for every time you get that weird feeling, you're looking for something. So,
man, for sure.
That can be terrifying as a kid.
It was weird because that night I didn't wake my brother up somehow because I was loud.
Yeah,
he didn't wake up. He's renowned for sleeping very well, my brother. Like he'd be a professional sleeper. Yeah, right. He's good at it. But he didn't wake up. Like, I don't know how he didn't wake up, but he didn't see that guy ever, and I never saw him again other than that night, which I find quite strange. Really.
Yeah, definitely.
But he saw in that room, the same room, he woke up one night and saw two red eyes, glowing eyes, and they sort of started coming towards him. So that was his experience in that room. He had a bad experience as well.
Jeez, so, yeah, that sounds. Now that sounds super. That even sounds more terrifying.
Yeah,
like,
man.
You know what that is. At least with a guy, at least you can see he's sitting there, he's not moving. But when you see like eyes, like red eyes like that, you don't know what that is. And whatever it is, that's not good.
No.
You know what I mean?
And it coming towards him as well. Like you could see it coming to. That's terrifying, man.
Yeah, that is wild. Growing up in a haunted house, that is absolutely wild. Thankfully, I was lucky enough never to be like in a haunted house necessarily. So, I grew up in haunted towns, so like weird things would happen, but luckily, it was just like one-off type situations and stuff like that. But I mean, to be living in a home and to go to sleep every single night, not knowing whether or not this is going to be the, you know what I mean? Like, that's some psychological warfare there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. And that's definitely stuck with me as well. It's definitely why, as I say, I was scared of the dark before I saw that, but it's definitely stuck with me. It's definitely the reason why I think I'm still don't like the dark. If my wife's not there, the lights are on or the TV's on.
Right. Now, do you think this experience and maybe other paranormal experiences has led you to like really gravitate towards trying to find out what's going on in the world? And that's
definitely, man. Yeah, I think when you have experiences yourself, like you guys know, you know that there's more. So whenever someone tells you their experience, you know that anything's possible. So it's like, and nobody really knows what's going on with the paranormal, but to try and the more people that talk, share their experiences, the more we learn, the more we see how common it is, because it does seem to be what I've learned, in this short time doing the podcast, that so many people have had experiences, don't always want to share them, which is fine, but it's very rare to meet someone that's not experienced anything. I've found.
Yeah. Definitely. And man, that's awesome. And it's I think it's like that with me and Jason too. I know Jason has paranormal experiences. Obviously I've had paranormal experiences, which is why like we're doing what we're doing now. Because the way I look at it, because the things that have happened to me, I know that are real. if they've happened,
Yeah.
these things have happened to me. What else has happened to someone else out there? You know what I mean? That's why I'm always
Exactly.
open to hear what people say have happened to them, because you like, who am I to be like, oh, that that's not real, that didn't happen to you, or it's like, that's that person's experience. If someone said that to me, I'd be like, well, screw you.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I mean?
100%, man.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like, this happened. What do you want me to say? You know what I mean?
yeah,
But
yeah.
yeah. So it's super interesting.
I meet
Absolutely.
a lot of people that like, are not really into the paranormal, but have listened to the show and stuff like that, and they say to me like, "Oh man, like not that they don't believe it, but that they sort of say, they sort of I can't explain it, but they'll say that they're not sure about the paranormal and stuff like that, and then they'll tell me, but they'll go, there was this one time that one of my friends literally said this. There was this one time that a lady was sitting on the end of my bed during the night, and I was like, mate, that's paranormal, that's not normal.
Yeah, that's definitely not normal.
Yeah, you've seen a ghost, brother. you know, because you know the difference between a dream or like that time when I was 10 years old and I saw that guy in my room. I knew I wasn't dreaming. I knew that I was fully awake, that it wasn't my mind, because I feel like I would have seen probably more stuff. I did see other stuff in that house, but not that guy again. So you know the difference between when you're having an experience that might be in your mind, or
Mm-hmm. No, absolutely.
Yeah, 100%.
Definitely.
Yeah, I've seen so many things, and I've shared with you on your show about them. So this isn't about Jason. This is about Tommy. So I'm not going to go into that. But God,
that's cool.
And look at his podcast and check it out because I was on there.
That's right. That's right.
I also saw.
Good. Yeah.
Sorry.
No, go for it. Yeah.
I was going to say I also saw an apparition of a lady in that house as well, which is the other definite apparition I saw in that house. So basically, I was in my mum and dad's bedroom, and I was sort of playing about. They had mirrors in their room. This was after I'd seen the guy, so I was fully aware of what could happen anyway. But I wasn't thinking. I wasn't in that mode. I wasn't scared at the time because it was during the day. And I was sort of playing about in front of I can't remember what I was doing, but being silly probably. And I just remember a naked lady walking past me, full-bodied, blonde, naked lady. Now, I just thought it was my mum because she was blonde, and it wasn't the most unusual thing to see her walk around the house naked. She would do that. So I just thought it was my mum, didn't think nothing of it. She walked past me and walked into the ensuite that they had in their room. And I just started talking to her, Mum, da-da-da, whatever I was saying. Walked into their bathroom and there was no one in there. And I was like, I just remember being like, what? I just seen my mum walking. And I was so shocked. I ran down the stairs, found my mum fully clothed. And I was like, Mum, I've just seen you walk past me. Like, I was convinced that was my mum, but it obviously wasn't. And that was the other time that I'd seen a full-bodied apparition in that house.
No, that's strange. So do you think that was a ghost of an actual lady, or do you think that was a doppelganger of your mom?
Very possible, man.
Yeah.
I've never thought of that. I never thought it could have been a doppelganger of my mum. It could have been. Because I really just thought it was my mum.
Especially if you really thought it was your mom. You know what I mean? You're like, oh, that's mom.
Yeah,
that's my mom.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's creepy.
Yeah, it's very
really creepy. Then you get into a whole like a malevolent thing where it's like trying to trick you into thinking that God forbid. Yeah, dude, that's creepy, man. That's really weird.
Yeah, man. I never thought of it that way before. It could have been a doppelganger. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
because I never saw it as like I'd never at that time, and even up to recently, I'd never seen it as like a demonic thing. I just saw it as a haunted house. I didn't see it as, but it could. A lot of what was going on in the house, my brother seeing red eyes, what I saw, it does sort of seem like it could be something like that.
Yeah, that is that, and that's a whole other like level of like entity for sure. Especially if it's manifesting like that full body and appearing to be someone that you know. I mean, that's weird. I mean, even like you hear of things like that happening where like people hear their name called and it's like it sounds like someone that they know or something like that, but
Yeah.
it's not. You know, they kind of like that kind of thing. You know.
I had it literally 2 weeks ago.
Really?
Really?
This is jumping forward. Yeah. So 2 weeks ago. So you guys know I do interviews quite late UK time.
Absolutely.
Early hours of the morning, I'm doing interviews pretty much nearly every night. So I just finished an interview, and it was about 3 a.m. UK time. I've gone down the stairs, and I'm making myself a cup of tea, as I do because I can't go to bed straight away. So I was just winding down, wasn't thinking too much about anything, and I heard, "Dad,"
Oh my god.
very clearly, and I jumped, and obviously I was like expecting to see one of my kids there.
Sure.
No one there, and I was just, like when something like that happens, and you're like, "Oh man," like the heart's going, and I was like, "Oh, just had a paranormal conversation as well." So,
Yeah.
so I've gone upstairs to check the kids to make sure the wife and the kids, it wasn't any of them. They was all sound asleep in bed. It wasn't the dog. The dog was sound asleep in his cage, and I was just like, "Man, what was that?" I clearly heard, "Dad." I thought it was my younger son at first, because that's sort of what it sounded like. But yeah, that was my most recent paranormal experience.
Yeah, that is absolutely wild. And that is wild. That's crazy. I had something like that happen recently. I'll have whenever me and Jason don't have something to talk about, I'll have to bring that up.
But Phil, you have that all the time.
I know.
Something always says, no.
No, I know, but this is like Tommy was saying. This is something like that happened in my house. That's what I was like, which is like a little different. Yeah.
Yeah.
This is a while back, but yeah. I'll talk about it at some point. Just remind me at some point. But
all right, definitely.
I didn't want to take away from Tommy's, but it was literally the same sort of thing. But yeah, weird, very very strange. And the very fact I brought that up and you had that happen to you is, I think, really strange too.
Yeah.
But yeah,
and that was literally 2 weeks ago, man.
Yeah.
So that was weird.
Yeah, absolutely. A follow-up question: do you think that doing interviews and hearing people's stories is what's maybe, like, not saying opening yourself up to like having these experiences or stuff, do you ever think about that? Because someone had mentioned that to me before about someone else. I think it was Kevin actually. And like someone else was like, "Oh, you got to make sure like you shut yourself off after you interview these people and their stories, because you never know when they're talking about their stories, what could come through." And I was like, "Oh, I never thought about it like that, but it's possible." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Especially know, like you're doing, you're doing so many interviews, talking to so many people about what's sometimes scary things that have happened to them, sometimes not, but I guess you never really know. So I guess it's maybe like even for us, like me doing ghost hunting is the same thing. You always got to make sure you protect yourself before and after. And it's like, I guess with podcasting, maybe we got to start doing that too.
Yeah, definitely.
You know what I mean? Like if that's going to be something that's going to happen, it's like, I don't want that to be happening. So we don't have time for that. I mean,
no, not in the house, man.
not like after you're hearing this creepy story, you're trying to like probably get to sleep after this too, and it's like, how am I going to sleep after that? You know what I mean? Like,
I know, man.
Like, all right, then I got to pray through my house. That's what I do. So then I'm like, all right, and they get my anointing oil, pray through my house, and
I mean, having children of my own, that's the freakiest part of hearing.
Yes,
you hear your child's voice.
Yeah,
man. That gives me goosebumps, man. It gives me
creepy.
Goosebumps.
That's creepy.
Yeah.
Like any family member, but if it's a kid, even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, 100%.
Because then you're like, oh my God, what's going on? And then to find out, oh no, they're all fine. So then you're like, oh my God, then what the hell was that?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? What was pretending to be my kid behind me, or wherever it was, wherever this voice came from, then,
it felt like it was just in my ear, but it was right there.
Yeah.
Or just behind me, it felt close and it felt personal and very, very clear.
Yep. Yeah, dude, I don't want to get into it, but yes, it was the same thing for me, dude. It was like clear as day. So much so I did the same thing you did. I literally went to go check on Nicole to see if she called me, and it wasn't.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah, because you try and find all the things it could be.
Of course, well, because you're like, oh, okay, well, maybe
recreate
really,
sounds.
Maybe they really are calling me. You know what I mean? Like, it is getting late. Maybe she wants me to go to bed. Whatever. Nope.
Yeah. Yeah, man, it's weird. I do think you do open yourself up to this stuff and invite it in. I do, because I noticed an uptick when I first started doing the show. I was experiencing things, and I was like, man, should I be messing with this stuff? You know, that was always a thing that one of the reasons that sort of held me back a little bit from doing it at all. Really was, are you going to invite things into your house that you don't want, that you can't control? And that has always been something that's scared me a little bit, but I just got to the point where I'm like, let's go. Let's see what happens. But I pray a lot, you know, when I finish interviews, and you know, that makes me feel safe. So yeah, I do think it is dangerous though, talking about this stuff, and you can invite things in your house. I really do believe that. And you just got to be careful.
Unintentionally. Well, not only that, you just never know who you're talking to. And what their intentions are. You know, most of you talk to are great people. You know what I mean? I'm not saying there's people out there, but you know, you never know. Like there could be somebody with malice intentions against you that's saying one thing to you and be like just trying to get on your show just to get an interview with you, just so, you know, they can try to do some sort of whatever, you know. So you never know, man. So yeah, it's always good to protect yourself, and praying to Jesus is definitely the number one thing in my book. So you can't go wrong with that. For sure. You can't go wrong with that. So
for sure.
No weapon formed against you shall prosper as long as Jesus is on your side. So
definitely.
Man.
That one saying is, you know, if you peer into the darkness peers back. I always think about that too, you know.
Yeah. No, it's true.
Sure.
Even in my own experience, just doing my channel and ghost hunting and stuff, when I first started out, you know, I get some paranormal things or some paranormal evidence, but as time went on, it would just amplified, and now it's basically a consistent level. You know what I mean? Where like you said, the paranormal starts looking into you. I've said it on Tony's show a couple times. You know, and it is true. Once you start looking into stuff, then more paranormal things will happen to you for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but
100%.
Even with that said, previous to me doing ghost hunting, a lot of crazy paranormal things happened to me previous to me looking into it. So that can happen too. Just like with Tommy or with Jason, you had experiences before you even started looking into things.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like you said, kind of go back into the beginning, just, you know, cause that's what got us into this, you know? So, dude, it's a wild ride, man.
It is.
Yeah, for sure.
Wild ride.
Because I remember, because I've always been super fascinated by the paranormal, always, since I can remember. But I do remember, like, when I first started listening to podcasts, I used to think, man, should I be listening to this? Like, am I going to be inviting these things in that I'm listening to? But I just couldn't stop listening to it. So I used to keep listening to podcasts, and then eventually I was like, I'm going to start a podcast. And should I? But now it's it, man. I've got cryptids on the wall.
Yeah.
I talk about ghosts every day.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Now I have been listening to podcasts and actually turned them off because, you know, they, you know, say, I can't remember exactly what it was, but, you know, someone was interviewing, say, a witch, and then they started like saying these names or something that seemed very demonic, or, you know, like if you give it power, you know, and stuff, or maybe an incantation, or talking about a seance or having a seance live on the air. I'm like, I don't want no part of that. I just turn it off. I don't want to, you know, open myself up to these spirits unknowingly, you know? So,
yeah, for sure, man.
Yeah, man, you never know.
This stuff can be dangerous. That is for sure. You know, it is a dangerous game.
It is. Yeah,
absolutely. So what other paranormal stories you have, Tommy, that you want to share with us today?
Yeah, so the interesting thing about the haunted house, which I find interesting, is when we left that house, I was 12, so it wasn't too much longer after the experience that I had. So the first night in the new house, so me and my brother, we suddenly got our own rooms. So I was in my own room for not the first time. I had my own room before, but I was in my own room, and I remember the first night in the new house, I had all the lights off. I didn't have any curtains up, so the street lights were coming in, so it wasn't fully dark. But I just remember laying in bed and just finding it strange that I wasn't scared. For the first time, I was just laying in, and I was in a new house, and that baffled me. So it sort of felt like whatever it was stayed at that house. Possibly. But for whatever reason, I did go on to see things in that house eventually. But for that first night, I just remember finding it so strange that I was on my own in a dark room, and I wasn't scared. And I found that really weird.
Yeah, I think that's crazy that you know what I mean? It just goes to show you how crazy your experiences were on a nightly basis in your old home, that you get to a new home as a child and you're like, man, it is kind of weird that I'm not feeling uneasy. And that's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's your takeaway as a little kid. You know what I mean? That's wild. That is absolutely wild.
It's weird.
I mean,
it's
it must have
weird,
been
man.
such a relief. You must have got a great night's sleep that night.
Yeah.
I can only imagine. You must have been like, wow, this is incredible. I can't believe this.
For sure.
That is interesting. That's especially that you noticed it immediately that first night.
Yeah. I found that weird.
Yeah, definitely. Because you never know in a new home. That first night's usually kind of weird anyway when you sleep in a new home.
It's like when you stay in a hotel or you stay somewhere that's a bit different.
Mm-hmm.
It can be a bit scary sometimes, you know.
Oh, especially if you wake up in the middle of the night and there's like that split second where you're like, "Where am I?"
That's the worst.
You're just like so confused. You're like, "Wait a minute," and then you're like, "Oh yeah, I'm wherever." You know what I mean? You're like, "Oh, that's right, I'm on vacation," or like wherever I'm supposed to be. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because that's happened to me before. I've been on overnight trips for work, and I think I'm at home, and then I wake up and I'm like, "Oh my god, where am I?" And I'm like, "Oh, that's right."
It's such a weird feeling.
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude, it is. It really can trip you out. You're like, "Oh my god, where am I? Where do I live? What's my name?" You're like, "Oh my god, was my whole existence a dream and I'm someone completely different?"
Oh man, it's weird. I know I'm losing a lot of man points tonight telling you how scared of the dark I am.
Well, dude, when you have a childhood like that, man, I don't blame you. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You have issues all the time. Like, I don't blame you. I wouldn't want to be in the dark alone either. You know?
Yeah.
Have that guy come back and just sit there.
Oh man, yeah, terrifying, man.
Yeah, dude.
I would love to. I've not seen that I know of a clear, full-bodied apparition. I mean, as I said to you before, if I saw this guy in the street, you know, it would just be a man dressed in Victorian or whatever era clothing he's wearing, and I'd find that strange. So I often wonder, do we see things sometimes that we might not, you know, could be a ghost, but, you know, because they're not see-through or whatever. I often think that as well because of my experience.
Yeah.
No, that could definitely be a possibility or something that, you know, especially if you see someone that's sort of out of place. You know, you're like, oh, yeah, like you said, you just like, oh, I guess there's a play going on or somewhere, or, you know, whatever. There must be some sort of a show going on somewhere. You know what I mean? It's like, oh, whatever. And then you do a double take and then you turn around and then they're not there. You know? I'm sure that's going to happen more often than not.
Well, I did see. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, you go.
No,
you go, man.
No, I totally. I don't even remember now.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No,
I was going to say
it probably was just. It wasn't anything. If I remember, it was. Bring it up.
I did see because I literally work just over the road from where I live, like a 30-second walk straight back. So that's why it works. So I work twilight, so like an evening sort of shift where I work. So I get in at 1:00 UK time, perfect time to start recording. So I literally leave. So I leave work. It takes me like 30 seconds to get home. And I remember one night I was walking back, and bearing in mind it's a very quick walk. It's very late at night, so there's no one about. No, there's never normally a car. You know, it's very rare to see people. You do sometimes see people, but it's rare. So I was walking back, and I noticed this lady walking along. And I thought to myself, as strange as a lady out, but didn't think much of it. You know, she just walked past me and walked into the bus stop. Now, for a second, I couldn't see her because she's inside the bus stop. But a fox came out of the bus stop, sort of turned, looked at me, and then run off. And I thought, oh, that's weird. And I've carried on walking, and I've looked into the bus stop. Now I'm expecting to see a lady standing there because there's nowhere she could have gone. And I've looked, and there's no one there, man. Oh. And I was like, what have I done? I was just really confused. I just found it crazy because I assumed she'd gone in the bus stop, scared the fox,
Mm-hmm.
you know, and it's come out. It wasn't running. It stopped, looked at me, and then it ran off. But I was like, what? Like, what have I just seen? And I was just about to do an interview, so I was sort of trying to sort of calm myself and get ready for that and not think too much about it. But the more it sat on it, and I was thinking, there's nowhere she could have gone. There was no like route that she could have taken to get away. You know, it's very strange. So what I saw there, I don't know. When I tell people that, they say like you could have seen a shapeshifter.
Yeah.
Very weird, man. Very strange.
Yeah, that is weird.
Yeah.
That is very, very weird.
If you were in the U.S., we would say you saw a skinwalker. You know,
I was thinking
Yeah.
Skinwalker when you said I was like, oh, I was like, he's gonna say that she just disappeared, and I'm like, oh, yep.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah, that is.
I mean, I didn't see her disappear. I just saw.
Yeah.
Obviously, she went into, and then there was only like a literal, whatever it was, 4 seconds where I couldn't see her. You know, because I'm walking along, and it was blinded. Then I could see, and there was no one there. And I was like, what?
That's crazy.
Bizarre, man.
Yeah.
But she was full-bodied as well. So so if she walked past me in the street, I'm not going to think nothing of it.
Yeah. You just thought it was a regular person.
It's just walking along, yeah. But yeah, very strange, man. It was just the fact that it was just us, and then there was a fox, and then she was gone, and it doesn't make sense, but that's what happened.
Yeah, dude, that is absolutely wild.
Yeah,
absolutely wild.
In the area you live in, is there any legends or anything about like apparitions
there
or
is
animals or whatever?
There is a Dogman legend right next to where I live, which is super exciting because I didn't know about this. I didn't until I say recently. I've known about it for about a year. But so when I moved here, a big reason why we moved to this house is because it's right next to a big forest, heathland that we can go and explore. So that was a big selling point for us to be here. When I first, and now I'm not saying this is a Dogman, but it's weird. So when I first moved into this house, before I started doing the podcast as well, I'd get in from work and I'd watch TV for a bit because I can't go straight to bed after work. And I used to hear like a growling outside the house. Now there's a lot of houses around here. We're not on our own in a forest or anything like that. It's quite a well built up area, but there is a massive forest next to us. So I've heard growling and I'm thinking, someone's letting their dog out at night. You know, that's all and it could have been that. I'm not saying it's not that. But I used to look out the window and I couldn't see any dog, which is weird because I can hear it growling outside my window and sort of sniffing and stuff like that, dog sounds. So I found that strange, and that lasted for a little while. Then when I started the podcast, it sort of seemed to stop. I don't know. Another weird experience we had. So I took my kids I take them all the time. I still do. We go to the forest all the time for walks. I took my two daughters for it was like a twilight walk. It was getting dark, but it wasn't fully dark. And we was quite far in the forest. And I'm taking pictures of the girls because it was like a nice scenery view and stuff. And my eldest daughter, Amy, started freaking out. And she was like, Dad, I've just seen something really weird. It had yellow eyes. I'm like, calm down. Like, what was it? What did you see? And she went, it looked like a Bigfoot, right? Okay. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking, okay, she's 11. She may have seen something that looks like. So obviously with what I do, I should be. I do believe what she's saying, but I'm trying to just rationalize it and think what it could be. And I'm looking around, I can't see anything. And she's sort of explaining where it was standing, what it looked like. And she's described a Bigfoot to me. But I'm thinking she's probably watched one of my documentaries that I've got on. You know, she's heard me talking to her. She knows about Bigfoot. She knows I'm into Bigfoot. So I sort of calmed her down. We got home. I was like, Amy, did you really see something with yellow eyes? And she's saying, yeah. And to this day, she says, yeah. And she still stands by that. So that was weird. And then after that, I was talking to someone I work with and they was telling me about the Dogman law and they call it the devil dog. Mm. And I was like, wow, we've got a devil dog. I was like very excited by this. And apparently it's in books and stuff, but it's known by some of the locals. There's a legend behind it. Some people claim to smell it. Some people claim to hear it, see it. And it's just like your typical Dogman sort of Dogman law. And very recently as well, I took the kids for a walk, and I'm not saying this is a dog man. This is just what we've experienced.
Mm-hmm.
And they've just got new bikes, so they're riding their bikes along, and there's this little pathway that they like going down, which is like half a mile, but I can see them the whole route that they're on, so I can see them the whole time. And my youngest went, "Can I go down there, Dad?" I'm like, "Yeah, go on, go down there. I can see you." And I'm watching them. So they've both gone down this pathway, got about halfway, and I've seen it as well. And at first, I thought it was a fox because it was like you see foxes all the time, and it was standing there at the edge, and I was like, "That's not a fox. That's too big to be a fox, and it looks grey." So then I'm thinking it's a big dog, which it could have been, but I couldn't see any owners or anything like that, and it was just on all fours. And both my kids had seen this. They've stopped. My eldest has started riding her bike back to me. My other little one's sort of falling because she's sort of panicking a little bit. So I've run down to her. Whatever this thing is gone. And I was like, girls, you're right. It's okay. Like, calm down. Like, what was that? What did you see? And they were saying they saw a wolf. Now, I don't know. I don't know what it was. It was very strange that there was no owners around. The dog didn't come. It was gone. So if an owner could have called it back that way, possibly. So I'm not saying it's definitely a dog man or whatever, the devil dog, but that's what we've experienced here. So, and that's the law that's there. So it's interesting.
Yeah, definitely. Especially when you match it up with the lore, like you said, in the area. And
Yeah.
then, like something like that. That's definitely something you have to keep your eye out. Maybe even do some investigating on your own. Speaking of
well, that's what I'm thinking of doing.
Yeah, okay. I was just gonna ask you that. So, are you gonna start investigating more as far as legends and lore, and are you gonna try to get into like ghost hunting and paranormal stuff as well?
Yeah, I am thinking of starting to do that. Yeah, because I've never been on a proper ghost investigation
That was gonna be
myself.
my second follow-up question. I was like, have you ever done an actual ghost investigation or ghost hunt or anything like that? Or...
No.
No,
not a proper. I mean, I've been to a lot of haunted places, castles, and places that are haunted, and I've felt weird feelings and stuff. Mm-hmm. But I've never actually been out with all the gear, filming it and stuff. I've never done that. I'd love to do that. I'd love to come out with you guys and do that. That would be
God.
amazing.
That would be a dream come true. That would be absolutely awesome.
I would love that, man.
We'll definitely have to make it happen sooner rather than later. But
I'd love that because that is something I'd like to do. I'd love to do that. I'd love to experience that.
Yeah. So in your area, are there any I'm sure there's probably some sort of group or something or events that you could probably at least get your feet wet, do some sort of light investigation with another group where it's not like something you have to buy a bunch of equipment for. A lot of these places they'll have stuff for you to use and stuff like that. I don't know if they have that in the UK or not, but
there's paranormal teams around here and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. I would like to get out and do a bit of that because I think that would be super interesting.
Yeah, for sure. It's a whole other ball game for sure.
Yeah.
But it is a lot of I think it's a lot of fun. I think it's a lot of fun, and not only investigating, but I think going over the evidence after you investigate. And then, verifying things that happened in the moment, that you're like, oh my God, this happened in the moment. And then to go back and see that moment and be like, yes, this did happen. And not only did that happen, but this other thing happened that we didn't even know that happened. And
I find that amazing as well.
Yeah. Oh, that's that's the best. That's the best. You know what I mean? When you kind of put pieces together and, it's weird like that. Like wherever you are, it's almost as if whatever's there will let the video be what it is, I don't know how to explain it, but that's the best way to explain it,
it's wild when you catch stuff that you didn't hear maybe in the time, but then you hear it on the video very clearly and stuff like that, and it's amazing, man.
Yeah, absolutely. That stuff's I think even more impressive than sometimes hearing something in the moment and then capturing that thing later, to verify that you did hear that thing. But to catch something that you didn't hear, that you're just kind of oblivious to, and then later on you're like, oh my God, you know what I mean? That's that's pretty cool. And then if it keeps on, when it keeps on happening over and over and over again, it gets hard to really say, oh, this isn't real. I don't know. I mean, like, I don't know how many more EPs you want me to put out there, but
100%.
like
man.
sometimes people just aren't gonna believe that. Disbelievers are just gonna disbelieve regardless of what.
Yeah.
For sure.
Like, there's always gonna be those people out there, but
you were saying about like maybe meeting up with the ghost group or something, and the first thing that came to my head is I watched this YouTube channel from the UK, Exploring with Fighters.
I love Exploring with Fighters.
They're great. And I know they do a lot of collabs with other people. I know Exploring with Josh is stuff with them, and but I mean, maybe reach out to them because you have the podcast.
Yeah,
maybe
man.
Collab with you or something. Yeah,
like have them on your pod. Then
that'd be cool.
On, then maybe they'll be more apt to let you come out.
I'd love to. Yeah, it'd be super interesting to experience that.
Yeah,
because that is something that as I said, I've not done that yet. I've not openly gone out with equipment catching EVPs and stuff, and I would like to do that. That is something I'll definitely like to start doing.
And I'll let you know. I'm definitely within the next 2 years. I'm coming to the UK for sure.
Yes,
it's on my bucket
list.
Let's
go.
On my dream list of things to do. So I'm definitely going. And when I do come, I'm gonna I'm staying in your area. I'm gonna probably be at your house. And
you can stay at mine, man. You've got a place to stay.
Yes,
that is for sure.
And we
100%,
will
man.
do a ghost hunt together. No doubt about it.
That would be amazing.
Yeah, hell yeah.
There's a lot of spooky places for us to visit. Just down the road, we've got Coolfie Castle, which is
I love it.
A cool castle to explore, and that's got a lot of ghost stories there, man.
I love it.
So there's loads of places we can go.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude. I'm definitely down. And then after that, you have to come to States at some point for sure.
Yeah. Well, the aim, like I keep saying it, and I'd love to do it at some point, but I'd love to get over to the States to live. I feel that's where I want to be. I really do. So that in the future, that is something I'd like to do. I want a cabin in the woods.
I love it. Dude,
where I can do the podcast.
Not a bad life. Not a bad life.
That's the dream, man.
Yeah, hell yeah. And if you want it to happen, dude, you can definitely do it, man. It's just putting your mind to it, and then, working towards that goal and accomplishing that goal. You can do it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, thank you, man.
Yeah, hell yeah, dude.
The perfect place to have a cabin in the woods.
Yeah.
100%, yeah.
Yep, Tennessee, New England. There's a million places to have a cabin in the woods. That's the nice thing about America.
See, not New England. I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
You want me here,
Tommy? It's okay. You already know all the names of the towns. It's fine.
Yeah, that's it. That's it, man. It's all the same names.
Yeah, it really is all the same names. It really is. Yeah, I was born in a town called Falmouth, which I think you do have a Falmouth in
100%. Yeah, man. Yeah, 100%. All the names, because I've been looking into it a lot, and there's all the names are the same.
Practically really almost every single one in Massachusetts.
Plymouth.
Essentially. Yeah. Plymouth, Yarmouth. Yeah, dude. Almost all of them.
Yeah,
they just literally just stole all the names.
Yeah. This is England now.
Yeah. You're like, that's exactly it. They're like, we're taking this land over and we're just renaming it. Everything that we know. Yeah.
Yeah, man, I'm definitely coming.
New
York for sure.
New York came from York.
Yeah, right. New York. Yep, that's right.
Yeah.
That's all of that stuff. It is funny.
Yeah.
This
it's so interesting.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, hell yeah, man. Just awesome having you on, man. Just a great hang for sure.
I love it.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. There was one thing I wanted to ask you, and it wasn't paranormal related. What just as a British person, what British TV shows are you like into right now?
Oh, British TV shows right now. Well, we was talking before about the In-Betweeners. That's been around for a while.
Yeah,
but absolutely. That is one of the funniest things you can watch. It's so good.
Hell yeah.
Have you guys heard of Only Fools and Horses?
Only Fools and Horses. No.
I think you'll like it. It's like one of the biggest sitcoms over in the UK.
Okay.
It's it's quite old now. It's been around for a while. It doesn't go on anymore, but there's a lot of episodes, and it's just one of those shows here in the UK that you can watch. You can watch any, a bit like Friends, like, because we love Friends. You can watch any episode, and it doesn't matter where you pick it up from. It's one of them shows you can just watch any time, any episode, and it's funny. But there's loads, man. There's loads of good shows. But to be honest with you, I think our TV, I think, is quite similar. I think we watch pretty much the same sort of stuff now with Netflix and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
I think I know a lot of what I watch is American stuff. Like I love it. So yeah, I think we watch pretty much similar. I was surprised that you've seen the In-Betweeners, to be honest. That's pretty cool.
Really? Oh yeah, dude. Oh my God. It's one of my favorites for sure. Like I'm a huge British person and UK culture person anyway. Like this is gonna sound weird, but I like the food from UK. I love the candy. I love the culture. I love the music. So I'm like kind of not obsessed, but semi-obsessed with the UK. So that's why, like, I was asking.
Yeah,
that's why I
that's
have
cool,
so many
man.
questions about the UK, because me and Nicole are always looking for new shows to watch, and like, you know, and so I wanted to know what a real British person was like. Oh, what do you think? You know, what are you watching right now? So that's why I wanted.
Yeah.
And so
I'm trying
do you have any other ones? Any other TV shows that you've been watching?
I'm trying to think, man. I mean, that's the only thing with, as you guys know, with what we do, we don't get a lot of time to watch other stuff.
Yeah. And
So
by watch, I mean,
problem.
like you. I have Nicole watches it, and I'm editing next to her on the couch.
Yeah.
That's me watching it.
Yeah. getting a little bits here and there.
Yep, that's literally my life. Yeah, every few seconds I look up and I'm like, oh, yep, okay, that's going on. All right, back to this video. And then every 10 minutes I'm like, hey, listen to this. What do you hear? What do you hear when you listen to this?
Yeah, that's the only, we don't get a lot of time to do that sort of thing.
No, like literally what we do is a passion projects, you know what I mean? Because it's literally like having 2 full-time jobs.
Yeah.
It
100%.
literally is.
Yeah,
like if you want, especially if you want it to grow, and you have to edit, you have to put the time in on social medias, you have to like make video, you know, you got to do so many things,
it's constant,
you know? And it's just like, you know, it could get to be a lot, but if you love what you're doing, you know, it's not that bad, you know. And it's all like I say all the time, it's like it's all about managing, you know, your time with the family and that. And as long as that doesn't get out of whack, where you're spending too much time away from your family, not enough time with them, it's the balance is important for sure, because you can get out of balance.
For sure, man.
Especially somebody like me, I'm like a workaholic, so I'm just like, I'll just keep on going and going and going, and like, you know, I'll work 18 hours a day. I don't care. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's like, that's not fair to Nicole. You know what I mean? Like, I need to, you know, spend more time. So, yeah, dude.
Yeah, sometimes you have to just switch off from it.
Yeah.
You have to just sort of.
Yep. Absolutely.
See, I find as well, when I do get a spare hour or whatever, and I'm like, I'm going to watch a bit of TV, I put on a paranormal show, and I'm like, I should be having a break from this, man, but I can't. I love it.
Yeah. You're like,
so I'm watching paranormal.
Show. Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So can't help it.
I'm exactly the same way. Except I've kind of fallen into this the show Bizarre Foods. I don't know if you know about this show.
Yeah.
The guy goes around trying all the different foods.
Mm-hmm.
I've been really into that lately. Going back and watching all the episodes, all the seasons. But yeah, it's I've been watching with my kids too, and they're like, you know, they get grossed out because, you know, he's eating, you know, bull testicles and stuff.
Yeah. Like Fear Factor.
Yeah.
Old school.
I used to love that, man.
Yeah. Absolutely.
I tell you a show I'm watching quite a lot.
Oh,
Sorry, man.
No, please.
And it's an American show. It's called Tanked. And it's been about for a long time, where they just build the tanks for famous celebrities and stuff.
Yeah.
I love it, man. That is one of my favorite shows at the moment. And I tell people, like, you got to watch this show, Tanked. And they're like, what's it about? I'm like, it's about guys that build massive fish tanks for celebrities. And they're like, really? Yes.
Yeah.
Give it a chance. Give it a chance, man. It's great. I love it. So that's my big show at the moment.
Yeah, it is weird how you can. There's just certain things that, like, if someone would tell you, like, oh, this show is awesome. You're like, oh, I don't get it. But then you see it and you're like, oh, this is awesome. Like, there's one YouTube channel. I don't get a free time to watch a lot of stuff, but when I do, there's this YouTube channel. I don't even remember the guy's name, but he's just literally, the YouTube channel is showing apartments in New York City, like how big they are, how much they cost. me and Nicole spent like probably the better part of like 2 hours just watching YouTube videos about how much apartments cost in New York, like looking at them and be like, wow. I was like, these are small, but I was like, you know what, we could make this work if we combined our salary, you know, like
Yeah.
so it's just you know, the things that like you find interesting sometimes. It's just like certain things,
man.
just like, you know, they just hit for some reason, you know, even though you're like on paper, you're like, oh, you know, I wouldn't like that.
Yeah.
And then as soon as you see it on TV, you're like, oh, all right, this is great. This is my favorite show ever. It's like Bar Rescue. You know what I mean? Like, theoretically, you're like, oh, that doesn't sound interesting. Rescuing like bars, like turning them around, that seems kind of boring. But then you see it on TV, you're like, this is great. You know what I mean?
It's
like,
brilliant, yeah.
Yell at this guy. He's an idiot. You know, like, you know what I mean? So it's funny how that works. You know what I mean? Sometimes, you know, you'd be surprised what you find interesting.
Man.
You know, and YouTube and Instagram knows it too. You know, how many times have you guys, I don't know if you guys get caught down this rabbit hole of looking at like a guy clean up horse hoofs that are infected. Have you guys seen those videos? I don't know how or why.
And they're addictive.
Yeah, they are. And then as soon as you like one, God forbid, then that's all you're seeing.
Yeah.
You're like, oh my God, I hope this guy cleans up his hoof. You know what I mean? Like,
and you have to see how it finishes. You can't start watching it and then give up. Like, you have to see it because you have to know.
Right. And it's so random. Sometimes, like, when the algorithm hits you, it hits you with some random stuff. Like, there's this another random guy it hit me with, and he's like this kid from like Texas or something. So he's got like that Southern accent, but he's got like an afro, but he dresses from the 1800s, and everything he does is 1800s. Like, he has like an old car, an old piano. He's doing Tesla experiments, and like, dude, it's just like, the most random, weird like channel videos I've ever seen in my life, but I can't stop watching it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know why, but it's an interesting time to live.
Yeah, man. And then you get a comfort from it, and you go back and you start.
It's
you watch more.
It's so weird. I just hope people feel that way about us, and they keep on coming back and listening to us and watching.
100%, man. 100%.
But yeah, dude.
I get addicted to the guy that mows grass. Have you seen that guy?
Yes. Yeah, and like for people's things for free.
Yeah.
Yes. Of course I have. How is it we've all seen it? You know what I mean? Like, how is this possible? This is not very, very good for the people that say we don't live in a matrix.
Oh, I know.
We've all seen the same things. They're like, oh yeah, I've seen that guy. I've seen the horse hoofs. Yeah.
I think we're probably in the same algorithm. We've got to be.
Definitely. I'm trying to think of something else I've seen randomly, like recently. I've been getting fed a lot. Well, no pun intended. I've been getting fed a lot of like food people lately, food creators.
Yeah.
That's been like lately what I've been getting here. Either people eating like fast food things, like new fast food things, or people that are women that make food at home and have the recipes and show you how to make things, like a lot of that kind of stuff recently, which is fine by me because I just sent them to Nicole. I'm like, hey, this looks good. Let's make this.
Let's go.
Yeah. So like that's been great. But yeah, that's been my algorithm lately. It's just food.
It's probably because you start doing those the
food videos. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
That's probably exactly what it is. Yep. Yeah. It's so weird. It's so weird. Just give it a couple months. It'll be something else, some other weird thing, you know?
Yeah. I mean,
oh man. Holy moly. Well, Tommy, it's been awesome having you on, man.
Yeah, definitely do.
Thank you so much, guys.
Awesome
I really
episode,
appreciate
man.
it.
Yeah, just a lot of awesome, obviously awesome paranormal stories. Thank you for sharing them. Some funny laughs, some good conversation. You couldn't ask for a better episode, I don't think.
Yeah,
I think.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well.
Awesome. I love what you guys do, so I really appreciate being a part of this, man. Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. And anytime you want to have us on, I know a while back you wanted to have us on to talk about Elkmont. So if you ever
I'd love to. Let's do it.
That or anything else you want us to talk about, let us know.
That'd be amazing. Yeah. That would be amazing. You guys are welcome on anytime. Awesome. That'd be amazing. Let's sort it out. Yeah, Phil, you're on every episode anyway.
Yes, that's right. For those people who don't know, I'm in Tommy's intro.
Yeah.
So, so you can hear that every single week.
You're there every week, man.
Yeah, every single week. That's right. Yeah, hell yeah. Why don't you tell everyone where they can find your stuff and plug away and all that stuff?
Awesome. Yeah, so I'm on all the main podcast platforms, Apple Podcasts, Spotify. We've started putting some episodes on YouTube as well, so you can find us there now as well. But yeah, we're everywhere, on all the podcast platforms, social media, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok, X, all of them at TC Let's Get Freaky Podcast. Yeah, man. I love it.
Yeah, hell yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, dude, absolutely. And I've been loving your little shorts, your little videos that you've been doing too. Keeping the
thank you, man.
in between the episodes and stuff, keeping it fresh.
Yeah. Thank you, man.
I've been loving all that stuff. You've been doing a good job with all that.
You're never sure when you put one of them out because you're always going to upset someone. Yeah, you're like,
or or just like you just like sometimes you're like, oh, this one's gonna hit, this one's gonna be, like, and the way the algorithm works sometimes, like I've also noticed, like, it depends what time you post. There's like so many factors.
100%, man.
How you title it, like all that stuff. It's so weird how that stuff, it really does. So don't get down on yourself. It's not you.
No.
It's just the algorithm.
I hate that side of it. Yeah, I hate that side of it where you have to
learn.
Put it out soon. Yeah, 100%.
You have to learn, and like there's a couple little apps that I use to like help me kind of figure out that kind of stuff along the way. But like, when you're first starting out, you're like, oh my God.
Yeah.
You're like, why? I don't understand. And then you, like you said, you find out all this stuff along the way, and you're like, okay, well, you got to play the game. You know what I mean?
We're living and learning.
Yeah. And you got to do what they want you to do, which is make little videos.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Because
then you put something out that you think is not going to hit, but you think, oh, I'll put that out. And then that hits. Yeah. And it's like, what?
Yeah. And you're like, oh my God, if I knew this was going to hit, I would have put more time into it.
100%.
That's happened to me before, And then someone comments, well, this looks kind of like lazy. And I'm like, damn it.
Look at the other stuff, man.
Yeah. This is just supposed to be a small little video. You know what I mean? Like,
social media.
Yeah, dude. Killer. But Tommy, man, thank you for being on the show, man. It's just been an awesome time. A lot of laughs. We appreciate you being on.
Thank you very much, guys.
It was great having you back on again. It was great talking to you again. But yeah, man, we should do this more often. Like, every few months.
I'd love to.
Just grab a topic and we just break it down. That'd be fun to do.
I'd love to do that. Yeah, anytime. Anytime you guys want me, I'm there, man. 100%.
Hell yeah, sounds good.
Awesome. Well, I guess we'll see you guys later, and also check out AFK Discussions wherever you do social media. Remember, if you're watching on YouTube, like 5-star reviews, all the good stuff. But guys, I guess we'll see you next time. Peace.